This is your life, Johnathan Thurston. I mean, it's a great tribute that we're giving you here tonight, but I want to start firstly at the end. It's 3 weeks since your last game for the Cowboys. Has it sunk in yet that it's all over for you?
Not yet. I've still had a fair bit of time around the playing group the first couple of weeks, so still around the boys, sort of around the inner sanctum, but yeah, probably the next couple of weeks it's going to hit.
All right, well, let's go back to the beginning. You just give me in your own words where you grew up and how football became a part of your life.
Yeah, so I grew up on the south side of Brisbane. I lived there till I was 16. I had an opportunity to go to a rugby league school in Toowoomba, St Mary's. So I moved there, found a family that could, the younger son I'd go to school with, the older son I'd go to footy training with, and that was when, yeah, things started taking off for me.
Was it hard to move away from home on your own like that with another family?
Yeah, yep. But it was a move that I knew I had to make, and thanks to my uncle and my parents, my Uncle Dean, that's been a big part of my life, and my mum and dad. You know, Toowoomba's only 2 hours drive, so every weekend they'd come up, watch me play footy, come and visit me. So that transition wasn't as hard as the transition from Toowoomba to Sydney.
Was it purely in the pursuit of this rugby league dream, like you always believed in yourself there? Yeah,
definitely. So, yeah, rugby league school, obviously the confraternity shield, a lot of scouts watching. So it's purely for my footballing. The one regret I do have is probably not concentrating harder at school because once I'd finished high school, no club wanted me. So that's when all those doubts start. You know, I wish I'd have tried so harder at school and concentrated more there. So I wasn't just mopping floors at Coles.
All right, we've heard all the stories about when you were younger, talent scouts saying he wouldn't be big enough, he wouldn't be good enough, too skinny. What I haven't heard is you talk about how that made you feel at the time.
Yeah, it's pretty disheartening. At some of the football carnivals where you think you're playing better than the people that are getting picked in front of you. I remember a high school carnival in Cairns. They picked 3-5-8s and I got left out, and I thought I'd played a better carnival than the boys that they'd picked, but they went for blokes that were a bigger size than what I was. So, yeah, that was disheartening. I remember Arthur Beetson was there, Noel Cleal, so they were all floating around, and yeah, that was probably the hardest part, receiving letters from a few of the clubs and saying they're going to discontinue talks.
So what do you say to young blokes now that might find themselves in that position?
Never give up, that's for sure. I always had that dream of playing at the highest level, and I wasn't going to let anyone stand in my way. So I found a job at Coles, thanks to a mate that I was playing football with, working as a butcher's assistant, and mopped floors, cleaned everything. So then I think Queensland 19s, played all right, and Ricky Stewart seen me play, sent Mark Hughes up to Toowoomba to watch me play local A grade, and went to Sydney, had a look at the setup, and it all sort of come pretty quickly.
It did come pretty quickly, didn't it?
Yeah.
What did it mean? What did it mean to you, that chance at the Bulldogs?
Everything. You know, when you get told that no club wants a bar of you, it's pretty disheartening, but yeah, to get that opportunity, and I remember having a conversation with Pricey. The Bulldogs were playing Newcastle, and he was pretty much the one that convinced me to come down. He said, you know, as a kid, pre-season's tough. You'll get homesick and you won't survive. I was halfway through the season, so at least, you know, you'll start playing a bit of footy and fit right in, and that convinced me to make the move. All
right, grand final with the Bulldogs, 2004.
Yeah, so it was a sort of up and down year for me. I think I got a broken leg maybe that year, and then started coming back through reserve grade. I thought I was playing better than some of the boys on the bench, but couldn't get a go, and had a meeting with the Cowboys. I wanted to play first grade footy week in, week out, so that's what convinced me to make that move. And then played round 26 against the Warriors. We put a fairly decent score on them. Come back, Folksy told me that he's going for a bigger bench, so I thought I'd play in my last game for the Bulldogs. I think the second week we played in Melbourne. He puts me on the bench. And I play all right in that game, and I think I'm back in the side for the final, preliminary final against Penrith, and Folksy says he wants a bigger bench, so I thought I'd play my last game. Pricey gets injured, and I remember Folksy calling me in to tell me I was playing, and I nearly fell off the chair in disbelief, but yeah, it was 21 years of age playing in a grand final. Yeah, couldn't believe it.
I wish he left you out. You beat the Roosters, so I'm not happy with that. Yeah. The following year, Cowboys, another grand final.
Yeah, so it all happened pretty quickly. You know, I sort of moved to Townsville as I only played 28 or 29 first grade games, so no one really knew of me. And yeah, had a really good year. The Cowboys played a really exciting brand of footy, and won my first Daily M, and another grand final, and you know, it's the grand final of Benji's flick pass that will go down in history. And it was pretty much heartbreak that year, and the next few years were fairly tough. We had
a lot of heartbreak with the Cowboys. They went so close so often, and
yeah,
you got robbed a few times.
Yeah, so that was a little bit later on, but I think we made the finals in 07. We missed the finals 06. Made the preliminary final in 07, and then I don't think we made the finals till 2011, so there was a few lean years there.
Origin, what did that mean to you?
Yeah, 2005, that was everything. Yeah, I couldn't believe it when Gino called me and to let me know that I was in the team, and I was going to be playing alongside my hero, Darren Lockyer, and yeah, it was quite a big moment for me. And I remember one of our first training sessions, and Lockie could sense how nervous I was, and he pulled me aside and said, you know, for me to do my job, I need you to do your job, and I believe in you, and I need you to get the boys around the park, otherwise I can't do my job. And that just made me feel 10 foot tall and bulletproof. And
so the people in your life, like your Ricky Stewarts and your Steve Prices and your Darren Lockyers, and this early rejection which taught you never to give up, sort of all encapsulated in the person you ended up becoming as a leader at the Cowboys. Would you be fair to say that? Yeah,
definitely. You know, those boys that you mentioned in the early parts, especially Sticky, being a halfback. I was a Canberra Raiders fan, so I used to pick his brain a lot about playing in the halves. So, you know, he had a massive influence on me in those early years, and Pricey to this day still in contact with him, so they certainly helped me grow over the years and into the leader that I am and was.
As a kid, when we're out practising goal kicking and all that sort of thing, and we're on our own out in the park and we're practising, and we always have that thought, this one's to win the grand final. It's from the sideline, it's after the bell, I've got to kick to win the grand final. Could you believe you were suddenly put in that position for the Cowboys' first ever premiership?
No. So that's what dreams are made of, and that's exactly the moment that I'd pretty much lived my life for. As soon as we had scored, just you know, put everything in perspective and what was just about to happen. I dreamed of that as a kid, and I wanted the ball in my hands. But yeah, you know, going through your processes of your, you know, everything that you do. You've done the kick 100 times before, thousands of times at training, and you're the last one to leave because, you know, you're practicing your goal kicking, and it all comes down to this moment. And as soon as I struck it off the boot, I could have swore.
It was going over.
I would have put my
Every
house
time I watch the replay, it's going over.
I know, so I could have put my house on it. I thought it had gone over because as a goal kicker, you just know when it comes off the boot how flush it is, and you could close your eyes and think it's going over, and it was coming, It's
curling, it's curling,
yeah,
it's curling, it's curling.
It is, so I think I probably had
the hand up to celebrate.
I had the hand up, yeah, probably a little bit too early, and it's come back to bite me, but we had another chance to ice the game, which was pretty special.
Well, the football gods only made you wait another 4 minutes, and there was an opportunity to kick a game-winning field goal, premiership-winning field goal.
Yeah, so it was. We were in a very good position, obviously with the scrum and getting too rushed, and then 3 plays later, Jimmy Tarmow gets a quick play the ball for me, and there was a fair breeze coming that way, and when I dropped it out of the hand, I could sort of see it rolling over and sort of hit it in the belly of the ball instead of underneath. And as soon as it come off the boot, though, I looked up and I was between the sticks, and it was more relief than anything. And then the celebrations were great.
People were saying at the time that unless you could win your own premiership with the Cowboys, you may not be considered an immortal. I always thought you would be. But did that sort of indicate that for you then, that premiership? Was that sort of everything you'd been searching for with that club?
Yeah. That was probably the year that I felt I was at the peak of my powers. Certainly the style of footy we were playing was an exciting brand and suited the players that we had around us. So, a few of those boys were in career best form as well. So, yeah, it was the year that I'll probably never forget as a footballer. And obviously at the start of the year, Frankie was born, Charlie was born as well. So it was quite a year.
I've said, as great as you were as a footballer and the great memories we'll have, I think you'll be greater in retirement than you were on the field. I think the things that you'll do off the field, the name that you have and the difference you'll make in other people's lives through your foundation and the different things that you're doing, I think you'll be bigger in retirement than you were in playing, and that was huge. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.